Welcome to Small Business, Big Network, the podcast for small business owners who want big results from their networking. I'm Liz Drury, a freelance voiceover artist who knows that if you're not working, then networking could help. Sarah Ridge is an entrepreneur, podcast host and founder of the Sisterhood Networking Group. She's come a long way from her very first networking meeting where she didn't even want to get out of the car. Today's episode is kindly sponsored by Kenema Cybersecurity. They're offering a free cybersecurity consultation for small business owners. To find out more about them, listen out for their advert later in the show. Thank you very much for being my guest on the podcast today, Sarah.
It's lovely to be here, Liz. Thanks for having me.
Now, you're a multi-passionate entrepreneur and the founder of the Sisterhood Networking Group, which we'll get on to in a minute. Perfect person for this podcast, I have to say. But let's go back into the past first, Sarah. What was your first job?
Rewinding the clock right back. Liz, I have a very varied, some might say crazy career history. So all I ever wanted to do when I was little was dance. I studied all types of dance, ballet, tap, modern. I also sung a bit, did acting from about the age of 5. And it was all I ever wanted to do. So I did a full-time performing arts course from the age of 16 to 18. And then the minute I'd finished the course, I pretty much got on a plane and started travelling the world as a professional dancer.
Wow. Where did that take you to then?
So initially my first job was over in Europe. So I went to Italy first. I visited Portugal a number of times, danced in shows over there. But probably the highlight of all of my dance career was performing on a cruise ship around the Caribbean for 9.5 months.
Nice.
That was really good fun.
Yeah, I bet. So what made you leave dancing then?
Because I got to about the age of 25. I wasn't injured. I probably could have carried on for a little bit longer, but back then, so we're going back a long way, Liz. We're rewinding the clock quite some time ago. Getting a job was a challenge. So I never had an agent. I just used to get a newspaper and an actual paper, it's all online now, called The Stage. And in the back of The Stage newspaper were all the auditions for upcoming jobs. So that's how I got work. And I think by the time I got to the age of 25, I was a bit jaded by it all, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I think I just wanted a bit of stability. Friends at home were, getting boyfriends and flats and cars. And I was looking at that and thinking, do you know what? I just don't really want to, be flogging myself at all these different auditions, herring up and down to London, the uncertainty of it all. It started to wear me down a little bit. So I quit at the age of 25, but I have so many fond memories, some great photos. Not many videos, unfortunately, because back then it wasn't a thing.
No.
But lots of fond memories.
Yeah. So after that then, what did you go on and do?
So this is where it gets interesting. So it's very different when you come to at the end of a career like that. Thinking of what you're going to do next is tricky. All I'd ever wanted to do was dance. I was still really passionate about it. So the nearest thing that I could come up with at the time was to become an aerobics instructor, because it kind of allowed me to express myself in a studio. I could put routines together for exercise classes. So I was still kind of dipping my toe into that kind of role. But I confess I didn't last very long. And like I say, this is where it gets interesting, because at the time, there was a local newspaper called the Evening Echo, and my mum had spotted an ad for a company looking for TV presenters locally. I remember her ringing me up and saying, you should go for it. And I said, oh, no, it's not really my kind of thing. I never really wanted to get involved in that side of media. And she went, just go. I was like, okay, fine, Mum, I'll go. And I went and I got the job. So it was just a little, like I say, going back all of the, I don't mind telling everybody I'm 53. So this is a long time ago. I was 25. there was no TV like we know it now.
No.
Cable TV was just starting to become a thing.
Yeah.
And you had to scroll through lots of fuzziness to get to Channel 53, which is where you would find me once a month presenting Get a New Life, which was again, so much fun. I'm so grateful for all the opportunities that have kind of been thrown my way. But if you imagine This Morning, but a really sort of low budget version.
Yeah.
that was Get a New Life. And then that led me to ending up on the breakfast show on Essex FM. The man that I was presenting the show with was head of news for our local radio station. And they were looking for someone to present the travel reports, tell everybody where all the traffic jams were.
Yeah.
So I went and did a screen test for that, and was very lucky to be chosen as the co-host of the breakfast show. So this was my late 20s. And I did that for 2.5 years. So yeah, it's been a crazy old ride, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. Fascinating. I love this. I worked at a very similar place, at a very similar age to you, Channel 7, which is our local cable TV station.
Brilliant.
And it was brilliant fun. I absolutely adored it.
Oh, it is, isn't it? You know, getting involved in those smaller projects, I think it teaches you so much.
Yeah.
It certainly helped with my confidence.
Yeah.
I don't think, if you'd have told, school age me, the late 20s me would be presenting a TV show and being on local radio, I literally would have laughed in your face and gone, don't be ridiculous. I was quite a shy thing growing up. And I think being introduced to performing arts really helped me with that.
Yeah.
And my mum encouraged me to go to diction classes and do public speaking. And I really struggled with that when I was younger. But dipping my toe into all of this is definitely, it's definitely shaped who I am today. But also, when we're talking about being a business owner, it teaches you so many other things, so many skills and qualities that you need to be able to run a business successfully too. So I'm very grateful.
So when did you become a business owner? When did your entrepreneurial journey start?
So that started when I had children, really. So I met and married my husband in 2003. Interestingly, we met when I was a fitness instructor. That first job that I had when I was teaching aerobics.
Yeah.
That's where we met, but we didn't get together until quite some time. We actually bumped into each other on a train travelling back home from London to Essex.
Yeah.
So it's one of those stories, the real sliding doors moments, because we don't think we would have ever have met again if we hadn't have been on that train.
Sounds very romantic, Sarah.
It kind of was. It really was, because we both really liked each other back when we worked together, but we never told each other. So we were very good friends. And then, obviously, fate took a hand. So we met and married quite quickly, and I and had my first child, my daughter, who's now nearly 21, which is crazy. And I don't want this to sound offensive to anybody who is a mum, because being a mum is the best job in the world. Yeah. It's top of my CV. I am very proud of being a mum, but I'm going to use the phrase "just mum" because it comes up quite often. I didn't want to. I needed more, I think, is what I'm trying to say, is that I'd always had a career that meant a lot to me. So it wasn't actually until I had my son, so there's 3 years between them, that I thought, right, I really want to get back to work now. And I got involved in direct sales. So I, some of you might be familiar with Jamie at Home, Jamie Oliver's Party Plan Business. Yeah. I dipped my toe into that. I had a great time. I was having my kitchen renovated at the time, and I had loads of empty cupboards. So it was very handy to fill out my kitchen. I've still got some of his stuff that I had all those years ago. So we're now, this is like 17 years ago. My God, that's crazy. But I loved direct sales. I loved the flexibility of it. I loved the camaraderie, being involved with the team. Learned loads, again, saying about the skills that you learn. Direct sales gave me so many skills, so many. I was very lucky to be involved with teams that were really proactive, really really hot on training, support, encouragement. So I picked up loads of great tips from the ladies that were my upline, and actually delved into a few different direct sales and network marketing companies. But that's when I started networking. That's when it first started to be put in front of me as a way of telling everybody what I was doing. So yeah, I first dipped my toe into networking. It would be about 15 years ago when I first started going along to meetings, and little shy me definitely came to the forefront again. I remember my first meeting being absolutely terrified. And I think this is probably true of a lot of people that want to get involved in networking. The thought of walking into a room full of strangers, not knowing anybody. Literally, I would sit in the car with my palms sweating, my heart racing, thinking, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do. And then you go and you have the most amazing couple of hours and you come out going, I'm so glad I did it. I'm so glad I did it.
I hear that from so many people, particularly women. Do you think that women have a different experience of networking to men?
Definitely. Oh, definitely. We're so different, aren't we? Men and women. Like men, it's kind of a bit like how they approach relationships. Get in, get out, get it done, off you go. Women, however, we crave that connection. We crave being in a room with like-minded ladies. We feed off each other. We love one another's energy. We get a buzz out of being able to listen to one another, find out, the real sort of nitty-gritty, the details of what all these different women are doing, and then be able to champion each other. Men just don't really. They, like I say, they just want to get in, get out, get the referrals, and move on. I'm not speaking of every man, obviously, but in my experience in general, that's kind of the approach, I think.
Yeah. If you're a business owner, let's ask the question no one likes to think about. What would you do if your business was hit by a cyber attack today? If your website went down or your customer data was leaked, would you be ready? And when was the last time your company's cybersecurity was professionally assessed? Most businesses aren't prepared, and that's why Kenema Cybersecurity is offering a free cybersecurity consultation for business owners. Their experts will identify vulnerabilities, review your current setup, and give you a clear path to better protection and compliance. Whether you're in healthcare, finance, or e-commerce, they help businesses across the US, Canada, and the United Kingdom stay secure. Don't wait for a breach to take action. Visit kenemacybersecurity.com today to claim your free consultation. So how did the Sisterhood get started?
Yes, so as I said, I've been networking for about 15 years as an attendee, but I also hosted for a couple of ladies that had their own networking businesses. Then the P word came along, the pandemic, and kind of ruined it all as far as networking was concerned. Obviously, the doors shut, in-person meetings had to stop. And for quite a while, it was a good 18 months, wasn't it, where we weren't allowed to be doing anything like that together. And when we came out the other side of the pandemic, the lady that I was working with, she kind of changed the structure of things, and it just didn't align with me and what I was wanting from networking. And I'm going to credit him again. He gets lots of credit, my husband. But my husband said to me, well, why don't you just start up your own networking group? And I went, oh, no, couldn't possibly do that. Not my own thing. No one's going to come if it's me. They'll come if I'm representing somebody. But no, I couldn't do that. He went, look, just go to the pub with a few women that you used to network with that have a business and just see what happens. So I did actually take my husband's advice. That does not happen very often. This was back in October 2023. So it'll be 3 years this October. I did exactly that. I messaged around a few of the ladies that had networked with me before and said, hey, I'm thinking of starting up another group. Would you be interested? Fancy meeting me at the pub? And they did, but unbeknown to me, they were also telling other ladies. So this small group of ladies that I thought were going to be coming along actually turned out to be 12 ladies sat around a pub in Leigh-on-sea, which we still go to now. It's still my original meeting. And we had the best 2 hours. It was, it just was everything that I hoped that it would be and more.
Yeah. So how has it grown and changed since then?
So it's completely unrecognisable now, but in the best way. Like I said, I had the best 2 hours. At the end of that first session, I said to the lady, or the lady said to me, "Oh, well, what's it going to be called? Have you got a name?" And I was like, "Oh, no, I just got you to the pub. I haven't got that far yet." I said, "Leave it with me. Next time we come." I said, "You all up for another round next month?" They went, "Yeah." I said, "Okay, leave it with me. I'll have a name for you when we come back." And I literally went home, took the dog for a walk. Always do my best thinking when I walk the dog. And the name The Sisterhood popped into my head, immediately followed by, someone's going to have it because it's such a great name. So obviously got home, Googled furiously, checked Company's House, no Sisterhood Networking Group anywhere, which to this day I genuinely still can't believe that no one had thought of it as a name. But I now say that the name was waiting for me.
Yeah.
So it was so lovely to be able to grab that name and go, right, this is who we are. And I think that's when it changed. It kind of changed. It changed the dynamic of the group, I think. Before that first meeting, we were just a group of ladies going to the pub.
Yeah.
The sisterhood, I think, opened the doors to ladies. I was saying about sitting in the car, sweaty palms,
Yeah.
Heart palpitations. Some ladies can't get past that. Some ladies refuse to go to networking purely for the reason that they physically cannot bring themselves to walk into a room full of strangers. So they actively avoid it. And as soon as the name landed, I then seemed, from that month on, we were attracting ladies probably, predominantly with a more holistic vibe. So I get a lot of therapists, coaches, healers, ladies who not only would they find it difficult to express themselves in a scenario that we were talking about, that mixed scenario where it's quite corporate, but also the 60-second elevator pitch that we all know and love. They haven't got an elevator pitch that will fit into 60 seconds. They're so passionate about what they do that they need longer. So I wanted to be able to facilitate that for these ladies that either felt like they couldn't walk through that front door, or that they had too much to say and the 60 seconds just wasn't going to work for them. It wasn't long enough to convey exactly why you should book with them, have a treatment with them, come visit them, buy their course. So inadvertently, that name, then, it changed. It changed everything. And I knew pretty much straight away I was onto a good thing. So we launched that first meeting in Southend, then launched another meeting about 20 minutes away from me, literally 3 months later. By the end of the first year, I was hosting 5 meetings locally. And then I knew that what I had was something that was going to be suitable to franchise. So we launched the franchise opportunity. I say we, it was me initially. Just me. Now it's a we. It wasn't me initially. After that, we'd only been going a year, and I announced we were franchising, and I was very lucky that I had a lady that had been coming along to my meetings who was local but not like right on my doorstep, and come to me and said, "I'd like to be your first franchisee, please." So it was a dream start. And we now have 9 franchises in various different locations, predominantly Essex, but now sort of spreading that a little bit wider. We've got some in Kent, we've got 2 in Wales, and 1 in Portsmouth, and growing crazy fast in the best way.
But you have online meetings too, don't you?
Yes, I do host an online meeting once a month, because I love to be able to give the ladies who run a business that can reach further than their immediate area. So, if you're able to do Zoom appointments, or you sell products that can be shipped UK-wide, then I love being able to make those introductions for the ladies to people that they wouldn't be able to meet normally. Logistically, that you'd just be too far away. So it's inviting anyone from anywhere all over the UK to just come and connect. It's just an hour and 15 minutes, so shorter than your standard in-person meeting. But we have a guest speaker, and I put you into small breakout rooms. So, you talk about, that scary 60-second elevator pitch. It can be just as scary online as it is in person sometimes.
Yeah.
So we don't do intros. I literally just put you into breakout rooms with a little conversation starter. And we kind of mix those up as we go throughout the meeting. So hopefully you get to meet different people as the session goes on.
Yeah. So tell me what a typical meeting would be like if I come to one of your in-person meetings.
Yeah, so same kind of format as I've just mentioned for online. So we have a guest speaker at every meeting, and they kick the meeting off. Before they speak, though, I always like to have a bit of an icebreaker. So we share any news that we've got. So you might be celebrating something, you might have been somewhere lovely, or maybe you've got something coming up that everybody would be keen to be involved in. So we kind of share a little bit of news to get everybody chatting. I have as I've said, a lot of ladies that come to our meetings have never networked before. So I'll cover that off as well, what the expectation is, because I think networking can be really misunderstood. And I think it's always important to reiterate that coming along to a meeting is just where it starts. That 2 hours that you spend talking to one another, hearing from one another, that's just the tip of the iceberg. The best networking, I say, gets done after you leave that room. So it's about making those connections, reaching out to people that you feel drawn to. Not necessarily everybody. You might not want to, catch up with everyone, but certainly anybody that you think would be a great connection for you, or maybe a potential collaboration. One of our company values is collaboration over competition. So I don't have a lockout policy as such. I encourage anyone and everyone to come along. The only caveat to that is that we will only ever have one direct sales or network marketing representative from each company at the meeting, because essentially you're selling the same thing. But as far as other businesses are concerned, everybody is welcome. And as we're ladies are speaking, I can kind of identify who would be great fits. So I'll be like, oh, you need to speak to so-and-so, and you should catch up with her, and and try and sort of facilitate that afterwards, encouraging the ladies to really get to know one another, because that's where the magic happens. As far as I'm concerned.
So how many ladies do you get attending each meeting?
I cap it at 20,
right?
Because I give ladies longer to speak. If we go over 20, it's physically impossible to get everybody heard in that 2 hour window. It's just not possible. So 20 is pushing it. I love to be able. I hate cutting people off. And everybody that comes is so passionate about what they do. So you have sort of, I give most ladies about five minutes, 5 minutes to, share what lights them up, share what they've got going on. Quite often it can get emotional. I think sometimes ladies are being heard for the first time. They've been doing their business for however long, and no one's actually given them the opportunity to be able to really say why they do what they do. And that means the world to me, that we provide that safe space for ladies to really connect on a deeper level.
Yeah. And so what are your members getting from it? What kind of feedback do you get from them?
Oh, so much. It just a constant stream of positivity in so many different ways. I regularly get messages from my ladies saying, I'm so grateful for you. I'm so grateful for the Sisterhood Networking Group. This goes to my franchisees as well. It's fundamentally changed their lives as well, because they're replicating me and what I've created in their area, and having that same joyous experience, watching these women connect and support each other. I'm very, very grateful for all the feedback that I get on a regular basis, which is all just extremely positive and lovely to read. Yeah.
So tell me about your podcast.
Yes. So, I mentioned the radio thing. So, it was something that I didn't know I needed or necessarily wanted. I came about it purely by accident. And I have to put my hand up and say, prior to launching my own podcast, I didn't really listen to them or really know that much about them, if I'm perfectly honest. But somebody I knew was doing a free challenge on how to set yourself up with a podcast. And I thought, that might be interesting. Maybe I want to do that one day. And 3 days into the challenge, I'm, listening and absorbing it all and thinking, oh my God, I have a show ready to go. I know exactly what it's going to be. So the Sisterhood in Session podcast was born, which is basically all those lovely things I've just been telling you about my meetings, these women that talk so passionately about what they do and this emotional roller coaster that they take us on. And I thought, how amazing would it be to invite these ladies to come and chat to me so that I can share their story with a wider audience. They deserve to be heard, so that's exactly what I did. So that from challenge to launch was 6 weeks. I did the challenge. I went, right, that's it, I'm doing it. 1st of March 2024, the podcast is launching. And I am 77 episodes in now, I think, this week. It's a weekly show. I've interviewed everybody from high-flying 6-figure earners that have been through burnout, complicated health issues, to my lovely ladies that sit around my table every month that just have a small business but have an incredible story to tell. My wish for everybody that listens is to finish thinking I've either been incredibly inspired by the lady that I've just been listening to, or it's helped me to get clarity in my business, because it's kind of a mix of the two. So business can be a roller coaster ride. It's not for the faint-hearted, is it, Liz, running your own business? So you have to be ready to ride the roller coaster. And I have had messages from people saying, oh God, I listened to so-and-so episode and I was having a bit of a tough time and she said this and it just changed everything for me. And now I feel so much more positive and I feel like I can really get back into my business again. Again, just so grateful that this opportunity has just presented itself to me, and I feel like I'm a jigsaw puzzle and all these different pieces are being sort of slotted into place. Obviously it was the meetings and then the podcast and I'm going to say final piece of the puzzle. It's never going to be final, knowing me, but that certainly this particular puzzle piece kind of underlined everything. We took the podcast on the road last year, so I re-interviewed some of the ladies that I'd brought into the podcast, but we did it live in London, and I'm redoing it again in November this year, which is going to be amazing. Had 65 ladies all come together at a place called Spitalfields Conservatory near Liverpool Street in London, and hosted the ladies as podcast interviews, but also had breakout room sessions that you could choose what you wanted to get involved with. I had wellness sessions, personal development sessions, and business sessions playing out throughout the day. And as an attendee, you could choose what you wanted to take part in. It was the best day, hence the reason why we're going to make it an annual event. Once again, just really grateful that I'm able to offer all of these different aspects to the Sisterhood Networking Group now. It started with just one meeting and now, it's a little bit more than that.
It sounds amazing, Sarah. So my final question then is, if people want to connect with you and find out more about the Sisterhood, what's the best place for them to find you?
So super, super easy to come and find out what we're up to. If you head online to the sisterhoodnetworkinggroup.com, you can book for online networking on there. You can find out all about the franchisees and where they're based and join their private Facebook groups. You can also listen to the podcast there as well, although we're available on all of your usual platforms too. Just search for the Sisterhood in Session podcast on wherever you consume your podcasts.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much for being my guest, Sarah.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening to Small Business, Big Network. If you found this podcast useful, please do rate, review and subscribe. And don't forget to share it with the rest of your network too.